Hey everybody, welcome. Happy Tuesday. I'm Amy Crane, Social Lab Marketing. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. So I've got a couple quick announcements that I want to make, some exciting things that are going on. And today I actually didn't prepare any slides. Normally I have slides prepared, but we're doing things a little bit different today. So we're going to see how it goes. Webinar Jam, I'm super excited. They just rolled out their brand new Webinar Jam Studio. So I've been playing around with that and testing it out and seeing how it goes. So really excited about it. So let me know if you can hear me and see everything okay. I want to make sure everything's working. So super excited about that. I'm also really excited because next week we're actually going to have our first guest on the show. So I've reached out to some really awesome people so we can start to bring some guests on. We're still going to talk about Facebook advertising, so no worries there. But we're also going to talk about, I'm going to have Corey on next week, and she helps businesses with content marketing. So when you're creating your content, what's the best way to do it? How do you make it sound like yourself? How do you make sure that you're getting your point across and that your offer and your services are really clear? She's also going to answer some questions like, how often do I email out to my list? And am I bugging them too much? What are good subject lines? We've got a lot to talk about next week. So really excited to have her on here. And I've got a couple other guests lined up coming up. But don't worry, we're still going to focus on Facebook advertising. I just wanted to bring in some other guests to talk about things related to Facebook advertising so you can start to pull all those pieces together when it comes to creating your marketing plan. So really excited to have her on here next week. So looking forward to that. So thank you to everyone that hung out last week and sent emails. It looks like we've got a lot of people that are really just getting started with Facebook advertising, and I think that that's awesome. I'm so excited that there are so many people out there that are starting to play around with Facebook ads and see how powerful it can be for their business. So I got a lot of great feedback last week, and I got a lot of really awesome questions. So I wanted to take a few minutes at the beginning just to talk about some of the questions that I got regarding running light campaigns and the best way to figure out your targeting. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then for the second half of our webinar, we're going to talk about promoting your local business online. So I know we've got a lot of local business owners in the group, and that's actually how I got my start on Facebook, was with my local business. I had a retail store, I sold women's clothing, and I started playing around with Facebook ads so I could get people into my store. So Facebook has come a long way since then, so there are some really cool things that you can do now with Facebook ads that you couldn't do a couple years ago. So I'm going to walk you through some cool things you can do if you are a local business to get more people in the door and to get more people to your store, your restaurant, whatever it is. So we will talk about that too. So let's talk a little bit about light campaigns. So I got a lot of questions about running a light campaign, and is it really important to run a campaign? Should I focus? Should I spend my budget there, or should I spend my budget on something else? So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on how I got my page up and going. So I ran ads for my retail store, but when I started Social Lab, I wanted to build up this page, and I knew that it was important to build that page up as fast as I could. I didn't have my website ready. I didn't have fancy headshots. I don't even think I had a logo. I don't think I had anything. I think I just had a picture that my mom took that I threw up as my profile picture. I whipped together a cover image, and I started running my light campaign because I knew my website was in the works. But if you have ever worked on, either you've created your own website or if you've had someone else do it, you know that it can be a little bit of a process. Sometimes it takes a while, and it always takes a little bit longer than you think it's going to take. So for me, I wanted to go ahead and build up that Facebook page so that I would have fans there. So when my Facebook page was ready, I would actually have people to share it with. So if I had waited to build up my Facebook page, here's my website, it's ready to go. Who am I going to share it with? I don't have anybody on my Facebook page. I don't have a list at this point. I just have friends and family. So it worked out really well for me to build up that page first. And then I actually had a group of people to share my blog posts with, my new website, and get people signed on to my list. So running a light campaign, when you do it the right way, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but when you do it the right way, it's a really effective way to build up your page, build it fast. It's a lot harder to build a page organically now. Facebook really is pay to play. So if you're wanting to build your page and you've just kind of been sitting there with like 100 likes or 200 likes and you can't seem to get past that, you'll probably have to start paying for some ads. But it makes sense to build up your page and to run a like campaign, because you can get people in your target market, people that are going to be interested in your service or your products. So down the road, when you are ready to sell something, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sell, because these are people that already know you, they already trust you, they've been seeing your posts, watching your videos, checking out your website. So it's a lot easier down the road, and it's a lot more cost effective to sell to people that already know you. So this is huge, whether you're a local business and you just want to focus on people in your area, getting them to like your page, so then when you have a promotion, you can promote to them. It's important if you're a retail site. It makes it a lot easier to sell your products to if you build up that Facebook page first. And if you're an online business, if you're a coach, consultant, author, speaker, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you down the road to start to sell. And the cost is going to be lower. It's always a lot cheaper to get people that already know you signed up for something or to buy something than it is to go out into Facebook land and try to target people that have never heard of you. So when you build your page and you run a like campaign, you do it the right way. Here's what I want you to do. There are a few things I want you to focus on. So we don't want to go buy likes off of Fiverr or anything like that. We don't want to pay some shade ball off of the internet $5 to get 10,000 likes. God knows where those likes came from. And they're probably not in your target market. And they may not even be real accounts, and they're probably not people that are going to buy from you. So we don't want to do that. And when we are setting up our like campaign, we want to make sure that we're targeting the right people. So here's what I did. When I started my first like campaign for Social Lab Marketing, I started to make a list of the top people in my industry in social media and Facebook marketing. So I made a list of about 5 to 10 pages, I think. And I just wrote them down, and then I went and looked at their page to see how many fans they have and how engaged they are. So when I ran my first campaign, I didn't target that many people, but I focused on Social Media Examiner, Amy Porterfield, Mari Smith, and John Bloomer. I focused on him too. So I just targeted those 4 pages to start with. That's it. But they have a big enough audience that there was a big enough group there that I could target that group. So I did narrow down. I focused just on the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK. So you want to stay away from targeting countries, irrelevant countries like China and India, because they get a lot of you get a lot of spam bots when you run campaigns targeted at those countries. So you've got to be really, really careful there. You might see, you might be getting 2 cents a like or something like that, and so you think everything's awesome. But then when you turn around to go to promote to these people, they're not actual real accounts. So going to be a lot harder to build up your page that way. So you just want to focus on the countries or the locations where you work. So now I only target the UK, Canada, and the US, because I started to see that most of my clients and people coming onto my list were from those 3 countries. So as you start to go, you'll start to figure these things out, and you can start to weed out different targeting options. But running a like campaign, there's nothing wrong with it. It can be a really great thing for your business. You just want to make sure you do it the right way. So I recommend running one just to get things up and going, especially if you've got a page and you've just got a couple hundred fans, right? We want to get those numbers up. It's going to make it a lot easier for you in the long run. So nothing wrong with running a like campaign. Just make sure you do it the right way. And I don't spend a lot of money on like campaigns. I spend maybe $5 a day. And that's all you need. And then you can spend the rest of your budget to build your list or to promote your blog post, whatever else you've got going on. So I hope that answers some of the questions about running a like campaign. So let's talk a little bit about targeting, because I always get questions on targeting. So one of the big questions I got, how many people should you target? So when you're setting up your ad, how many people? And before, I used to tell people you want to focus between 200 and 500,000. That always seemed to be a really good number. But now, here's what's happening. So Facebook pages are getting bigger, right? So some people have, 50, 60,000 fans, 100,000 fans, 200,000 fans. So as Facebook pages are getting bigger, our target market's getting bigger. So our audience size is growing. So when I said that I was just targeting Social Media Examiner, Amy Porterfield, Mari Smith, and Sean Loomer, when I just focus on those 4, but I'm targeting, the US, the UK, and Canada, there's actually over 1 million people in that targeting group. So just targeting those 4 pages, there's over 1 million people in that group. So audience sizes are a little bit bigger. We're going to pop over to Facebook, and I'm actually going to show you. There's a little meter that pops up when you're an ads manager that tells you if your audience is too broad or too specific. So now I feel like it's not necessarily the number that we're paying attention to. We just want to make sure that the pages that we're targeting in our targeting groups are really specific, and those are the people that we want to attract. So I feel like it's more about finding the quality pages, quality interest over the size. So just make sure that when you are trying to figure out who you're targeting, pick the top few people, organizations, groups in your industry, and start there. Typically, they have really engaged Facebook pages, and they've got a large fan base because they're so well known. So that's always a good place to start. So don't make things hard on yourself. Just think of a couple people in your industry that are doing really well, or an organization or a group, and start with those. You can also use audience insights. I love audience insights. I talked a little bit about this last week. So if you haven't played around with it yet, I recommend hopping over to Facebook and getting on Audience Insights and playing around in there a little bit. So if you're stumped, if you can't think of some pages, it'll help you come up with, because it'll actually tell you other pages that people like, which is really cool. So check that out. The other question was, how many pages should you target? So again, I only target, most of my campaigns, I would say on average, if I'm using interest targeting, it's anywhere from 4 to 8 pages maybe. Some might have a little bit more, but for the most part, I'm not targeting, 20 pages or 25 pages, nothing crazy. I try to pick out a couple really good quality pages and just stick with those and target those. So again, it's not necessarily about the numbers that we're after. We don't need to necessarily hit a certain size, and we don't have to have, 5 interests every single time we create an ad. We just want to make sure that the interest that we have picked out to target, that's a good group for us to target. So just keep that in mind. So again, I would have to say it's anywhere from 4 to maybe 10 pages, I think, is probably about the average. Okay, so hopefully that answers your questions on likes and targeting. But if you still have questions, type them in the chat box. It's over on the right-hand side, and at the end, I will get to your questions. So let's talk a little bit about promoting local businesses. So if you've got a local business, this is a question I get a lot, is what's the best way to promote my local business on Facebook? So when I got started, I had a women's clothing store. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I was only targeting, I wasn't even just targeting all of Charlotte. I was actually right outside of the city. So I wanted to target people in this specific area. So it was really great for me because I could type in a couple different zip codes, and I knew that I was targeting people in my area. Since I sold women's clothing, I could target just women, and it was really, really effective. So to give you an idea of how I used it, so again, I'm retail, or I was retail at the time. I would use it to promote events. I would use it to promote sales, pretty much anything that I had going on in my store. So an example, I used to work with some other business owners in the same complex, and we would throw events together. So I actually paired up with one of my friends that owned a makeup store. And our first event, we didn't get that many people there. It wasn't that great. I think we had it was mostly our friends and our family and people that we said, you have to come to this event. The next event, and we sent out a couple emails to our list. So we did have some customers there, but the next event, we started to use Facebook to get the word out for this event. And once we started using Facebook, our next event, we had 60 or 70 people there. So just from getting started with the ads, I mean, our event went from 10 people to 60 or 7 people that were there. So it was really, really cool, and it was really great to see. So if you are a local business, there's some cool features that Facebook has rolled out. They've actually got a new ad type just for local businesses. So If you're a local business, I'm going to walk you through how to set up a local awareness ad. We're going to pop over to Facebook in a second. I'm going to show you that. And the targeting now. So we've got some new targeting options on Facebook for local businesses. So now you can target people based on if they live in your area or if they're passing through your area, or if they like live around your area. So it's really, really cool. So I'm going to show you how to set that up because that's going to be really awesome for you if you are a local business. So let's pop over to Facebook. I'm going to share my screen now. So let me know if you guys can see this. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. All right, so we are in Ads Manager. So to get here, it should pop up on the left-hand side of your screen, or you can just type in the search bar, Ads Manager, and it'll pull it up. So let's go through creating an ad. So we're just gonna hit create an ad up here in the right-hand corner. Now these are all of our options, right, for creating ads. So the new type of ad that Facebook rolled out recently, they rolled it out, I guess, a couple months ago, but it's a local awareness ad. So we're going to come down here to where it says reach people near your business. So this is going to allow you to reach people close to you. You can set your radius. So if you want to target people within a 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius, whatever, it's totally up to you. So it's pretty cool. So you've got your map here. So let me just type in an address here. So you'll just type in the address of your business. See if that'll pull it up. So it's going to focus in on this map. So it'll tell you where you are, and it will show how many people are in your area right now. So within 3 miles, we've got 61,000 people estimated. So you can go up to 50 miles if you want. You can also create a custom one if you want to. So let's go up to 50 miles and just see what we get. So now we've got 670,000 people in this area. So you can narrow down by age, male, female, if you need to. Set your budget, set your schedule, but let's come down here to the good stuff. So this is where you actually will start to create your ads. So you can add up to 6 images. So if you want to test out a couple different images, go for it. Here's where you will change your text. So maybe you've got a promotion going on, you've got a coupon, or you've got an event going on at your store, your restaurant, whatever it is. Type in your text so you can grab people's attention. Something that I saw works really well is if you actually call out the city where you are. So you say, hey, are you in Asheville this weekend? Come check this out. Or cool thing going on in Asheville, you know, but if you call out your city, that helps to grab people's attention because they're like, oh yeah, cool. Like I'm in Asheville or I'm in Charlotte or wherever you are. So swap out your text, your headline. Now this is pretty cool. So you can actually change your call to action here. Right now, I don't have, if I were to click this, I don't have this set up because I don't actually have an address set up for my Facebook page. And this is a test account that I use for the webinar. So not everything's set up the way it would be if you were doing this. But if you drop down this menu, you have the option to run this as a like page ad. So you'll get people in your area to like your page, which is really great, right? So you'll get people in your area within 50 miles or 20 miles, whatever you set it to come like your page. So it's going to make it easier for you to promote. So when we were talking about creating a like campaign, this is a really easy way to do it. The really cool thing, though, is if you are set up as a local business and you've got your address plugged in, you can set this to get directions. So you'll see here, before you can select the get directions button, you need to add an address to your page. So if you get this error message, you just need to go to your Facebook page and actually fill in your address. So this is awesome. So if you've got something really cool going on and people are like, hey, I have got to check this out. This is awesome. They can click get directions and then it'll pull up directions so they can go straight to your business. So how cool is that? I love it. I think it's awesome. And if I still had my retail store, I would be using this all the time. I think it's so cool. So it makes it really easy for people, one, to see what you're up to. It makes it easy for you to get in front of people. And then it makes it really easy for people to find you. So just hitting that get directions button, people can come straight to you. They don't have to go out to Google and try to find your address and type it into their GPS. They can just click that button and it pulls it straight up. So pretty cool, right? So you'll just switch out your call to action. So if you wanted to do get directions, you'll just swap that out, and then you'll see a preview of your ad over here. So it's just like setting up, you know, a like ad, or I guess, yeah, it's the most similar to creating a like ad. So you'll see all of that here, and then you'll just place your order, and then your ad will be good to go. So pretty simple. Just fill out all this, but you're not having to fill in all the other targeting, because you're just going to be targeting people in your area. So this is a local awareness ad. Now let's go back, and I'm going to show you some of the new targeting options that Facebook has rolled out. So let's say we just want to boost a post. So pick our Facebook page here. And then you'll select your post that you would want to boost. Continue. Okay. So down here, so you'll see this audience definition right here, this little kind of meter that's on the right-hand side, where you can go really specific, or you can see how broad. So this was what I was talking about when we were talking about targeting, and how broad or how specific should your audience be, and how many people should you target. So just to show you, let's just type in a couple here so you can see how it, come on, there we go. So you'll see it was a little too broad before, so now it's just straight up and down. So we'll add that. And you'll see here, down here, your potential reach. So this is how many people you could potentially reach. You're not going to reach all of these people. Your budget is going to have an effect on this, right? But just so you see, this is where you pull those numbers from. But when you're just getting started, I think this graph, it really helps to know if you're targeting, if you're not targeting enough people, or if you're targeting too many people. So you can kind of use this as a guide to make sure that you're on the right page. So of course, for your targeting, I'm a local business. I just want to target people in my area. So I'm going to type in, let's do a zip code. That's going to pull up Asheville. So I'm in Asheville. And I could type in, you know, as many zip codes as I want. So if there are a couple of zip codes around you that you want to type in, you can do that. You could just do it by city, or if you want to do state, maybe you work within the whole state. Whatever works for your business. That's what's cool, is you can narrow this down as much as you want, or you can make it as broad as you want. So this is what I was talking about. See right here where it says everyone in this location? So we've got people who live in this location, people recently in this location, so maybe they were visiting, and then people traveling in this location. So that's pretty cool. So they may not live in your city, right, but they're visiting. So like Asheville, we've got a lot of tourism. Like that's one of the biggest industries in Asheville. We get a ton of tourists. So that would be really cool for a lot of businesses here, because we have a lot of people coming in to visit. So now you can target people that are just visiting your city. So if you've got something really cool going on one weekend, you know you're going to have a lot of people coming into town, you can target those people. But if you just want to target people who live in that area, so maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you're an insurance agent, or you're a dentist or doctor's office, so you just work with people in that area, you can just focus on the people who live there. And then people recently in the area, so maybe they pop through. So that's pretty cool, right? So maybe I want to target people traveling in this location. So you'll see now, see how this changed? So that's very specific. So now my reach is less than 1,000. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're in this red zone, but it just depends on who you're targeting, right? So for you, if you are a local business, you're probably going to be on the lower end of that scale, and that's totally fine, because you don't have as big of an audience to pull from. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But you could always add a couple different interests in here. Maybe there are a couple other pages you could add, so you can get that number up a little bit more. And of course, you can narrow down by age, gender, all of that good stuff. So setting up the rest of your ad is the same. You'll set your budget, and then down here, well, this is a promoted post, so we've already got everything set up here. But you can start to play with this if you want to see, if you add in other zip codes, how this affects your numbers. But it's really, really cool. So if you are a local business, I think this is going to be a really cool way to start to target people in your area. And again, Facebook just rolled this out. Like I just noticed it here recently, I guess within the last week or two, I noticed that it popped up. So really excited, really cool. So I would love for you guys, especially if you are a local business, I'd love for you to test this out and let me know how it's working. I'd love to get some feedback on it. But I think it's really cool. I think it's going to be really, really powerful, and it's pretty easy to set up. So so play around with that. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start taking some questions now. All right. Laura wants to know, is a like campaign the same as boosting your page? So Laura, let's see here. So if you went out to, so a like campaign, let me show you where you would create a like campaign. You're in Ads Manager, you come to Create Ad. And then you're going to come down to Promote Your Page. So you'll select your page, and then you can create your like ad. Boosting your page, so from your Facebook page, you can actually click that button to promote your page. That's letting you create a like ad. If you're boosting a post, that's just turning a post into a promoted post. So that's taking a post that's already on your page and turning it into an ad so that more people see it. So I hope that that answers your question, but let me know if I didn't. Nicole, the 4 pages I mentioned were Social Media Examiner, Mari Smith, Amy Porterfield, and John Loomer. Those were the 4 pages that I targeted when I was getting started. Oh, something I completely forgot to mention. So if you are a local business, something that's really powerful for you, if you have a list of your current customers, you can target that list on Facebook. So you can create a custom audience, or if you've got a website that gets a lot of traffic, you can start to target your current customers on Facebook. So that's pretty cool. So if you've got a lot of, you've got a big email list, you've got a big database of current customers, you can target them on Facebook. So that's another great way to get in front of your current audience, right? And if you don't have a big list, that's okay. You can actually create a lookalike audience. So when you upload your Facebook or your email list to Facebook to create a custom audience, you'll just select create lookalike audience. And so Facebook has all this data on all of us, right? So it's going to compare your current list to other people on Facebook and then find other people that are similar. So I have a whole video, a whole webinar just on creating custom and lookalike audiences. It's out on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/sociallabmarketing, you can pop over there and watch that on how to create custom audiences. Let's see. If I'm promoting an event, what's the best type of ad to use? So sometimes people like to create an event on Facebook and then run ads to the event. I don't necessarily like to do that. I think it's more effective if it's just an event like a sale or promotion, you're just trying to get people into your store, you can just create a promoted post and run it that way. But if you are trying to get people, you actually need them to sign up, you need them to register, you'll want to create a website conversion ad so that way you can track how many people are actually signing up. So that's if you're doing a webinar or if it's an event where you actually have to get people to register, I would use that type of ad so you can track your registrations. All right, and Suze, do you have to be promoting an event to run a like campaign? No, absolutely not. So I run, when I was getting started, I just ran a like campaign. So I didn't have any events, I didn't have anything going on. I was just running the like campaign to get my page up and going. So running a like campaign that helps though, because if you're getting, if you're posting on your Facebook page, usually when you're running a like campaign, I see a lot more interaction on my page in general. So more people are liking and sharing my post. So you don't have to be promoting an event to run a like campaign. Absolutely not. You can just use it to get your page up and going. Okay, and then Stephen wants to know if I recommend using offers. So offers are, I honestly haven't used offers a lot recently. I think that there are better ad types out there than using an offer. So if you guys aren't familiar, an offer, you can create an offer and it's basically like giving people a coupon code that they can claim or a promo code, and you're able to track these offers. I think it's better to use a website conversion ad in most cases than using an offer. I think that they worked really well for a while, but then they kind of started to fall off. So I would probably set up a website conversion ad in that case and test that out and see how that works. Okay, and Sarah wants to know about the lookalike audience. So Sarah, that is on my YouTube channel. So if you just go to youtube.com/Social Lab Marketing, there's one webinar where I just talk about custom audiences and lookalike audiences. So I walk you through everything you need to know about creating them. So you can pop over there and check out that webinar. It should have everything that you need there. Okay, you guys, so that's our 30 minutes for this week. Thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you so much for bringing all of your questions, you guys. I hope that this was helpful, and we'll be back next Tuesday. Don't forget, Corey's going to be stopping by to talk about content marketing, so super excited to have her. I'll send out the email next week, so you'll get that in your inbox on Tuesday. So until then, I hope you have an awesome week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.